University of Prince Edward Island, Faculty of Education, ED number 615099, Educational Leadership. Instructor, Dr. Aaron Keith. Assignment number 3, Analysis of Leadership Practice, Jeffrey Herkimer. Leadership Statement. Quote, authentic leadership is particularly relevant in higher education where academic staff value autonomy and expect leaders to act with integrity and transparency. Tony Bush, page 7. As a college instructor, I have come to see that leadership in academia shouldn't be about titles or authority. It should be about trust, consistency, and being real with people. In a setting where independence and critical thinking is so important, I believe the best leaders are those who lead with honesty, humility, and a clear sense of purpose. For me, authentic leadership means showing up as my true self, being open about what I know, what I'm still learning, and where I've made mistakes. It means listening carefully to colleagues and students, valuing their perspectives, and making decisions that reflect shared values and not personal judgments. I try to create a classroom and a professional environment where people feel safe to speak up, take risks, and grow. That starts with transparency, being clear about expectations, communicating openly, and following through on commitments. It also means being approachable and supportive, especially when times are challenging. Leadership in higher education is a team effort. Quote, authentic leaders are those who are deeply aware of how they think and behave and are perceived by others as being aware of the perspectives, strengths, and weaknesses of those around them. Carag et al., page 3. Authentic leadership also means being present, not only physically, but emotionally and intellectually. It's about showing your genuine care for the well-being and success of others, and being willing to have honest conversations, even when they're uncomfortable. I believe that when we lead with empathy and vulnerability, we create a space for others to do the same. This builds trust and strengthens our academic community. In a world that often values performance over presence, authenticity reminds us to lead with heart and stay grounded in our values, and to never lose sight of the people we are here to serve and support. Ideological approach. At our institution, leadership follows a traditional top-down structure. In the School of Education, Arts and Science, the dean is at the top, followed by the associate dean, then the department chair, and finally the instructors. It is a model that has been in place for a long time, one that reflects a colonial legacy of centralized control. Most of the administration decisions are made at the top, while instructors, although not part of these conversations, are given a lot of freedom in how to teach and meet course outcomes. This structure does help clarify who is responsible for what, but it can also create a real sense of distance between leadership and faculty. Communication tends to flow one way, downward, and there aren't always many chances for instructors to be part of the bigger conversation around policy, planning, or resource decisions. We're trusted to manage our classrooms and shape the learning experience, but we're often left out of the decisions that shape the institution itself. Institutional leadership style. Our institution is built on a hierarchical leadership, as in the case of most higher education institutions. In a traditional hierarchical model, authority is clearly defined, while power concentrated at the top levels. Deans, associate deans, and department chairs who make decisions that are passed down to the instructors and staff. This model emphasizes order, consistency, and adherence to institutional policies, often prioritizing stability and efficiency over innovation. We are thankfully seeing a gradual shift away from this leadership style to a more transformational approach to leadership. Transformational leadership focuses on inspiring and motivating all members of the academic community to engage in shared goals and a continuous improvement. Rather than relying on a formal authority, transformational leadership seeks to empower faculty and staff, encouraging creativity and fostering a sense of collective purpose. While hierarchical leadership can ensure clarity and control, transformational leadership tends to cultivate a more dynamic and adaptive environment better suited to address the evolving challenges of modern education. How does my leadership style fit? As a member of a tightly knit team of 4 instructors who have worked together for many years, first as teachers and now as college-level instructors, I've experienced firsthand the power of a more transformational shared leadership approach. Each of us brings unique strengths and areas for growth that are all well recognized and valued within our group. Our collaboration is grounded in mutual respect and a deep understanding of one another's capabilities, which allows us to lead collectively and authentically. I see my role as helping others find their voice and confidence, whether they're students navigating their academic journey or fellow instructors adapting to institutional change. This aligns closely with the principles of transformational leadership, where the focus is on elevating others and fostering a sense of purpose. When we lead with authenticity, we build stronger, more resilient communities. This not only enhances our effectiveness as educators, but also creates a more inclusive and supportive learning environment. In contrast to rigidity and hierarchical systems, transformational leadership allows us to adapt, grow, and thrive, together making our work not just productive, but deeply meaningful. I believe that my journey to the college was guided by a higher purpose, one that extends beyond contributing to my current department. As an Indigenous educator, I feel a deep responsibility to be a voice for change in the field of education, particularly for more remote communities across Northern Ontario and the Prairies. My purpose is rooted in advocacy and action to champion solutions that address the persistent challenges of teaching quality and shortages in Indigenous communities. I am committed to working collaboratively to find sustainable, culturally grounded approaches that not only improve educational outcomes, but also empower communities. This calling is more than a professional goal. It is a personal mission to help transform education into a tool of equality, resilience, and hope for future generations. As I move forward toward this new challenge, I will definitely be mindful of the leadership styles studied in this course and use them as a directional guide to make sure I am imparting the best leadership skills. Recommendations. Quote, "In higher education, authentic leadership can serve as a counterbalance to managerialism, promoting a culture of trust and academic integrity." Conroy et al., page 12. That quote really speaks to our situation. While the current system may be efficient in some ways, it can sometimes feel more like management than leadership. The addition of authentic leadership would help close the persistent gap between institutional leadership and faculty management in our situation. Currently, if an instructor has an idea, they must present it to the department chair, and if it's deemed worthy, it will be passed up the chain. It would invite leaders to connect more genuinely with faculty, to listen actively, and to build trust through everyday actions. This model of leadership is not about authority or control, but about presence, integrity, and relational transparency. In their second project, Joel, Kim, Ali, and Aaron have a great quote for their shared leadership slide. Shared leadership is a dynamic, interactive influence process among individuals in a group for which the objective is to lead one another to achieve a group or organizational goal, or both. Pierce et al. If we can move towards a more authentic and shared leadership model, we have a real opportunity to shift away from outdated hierarchical structures and towards a more inclusive, collaborative academic culture, one where leadership is shared and everyone feels part of the journey. Our direct instructor group most definitely operates this way. We value what each other brings to the table, and this allows us to work as one. This shift is especially critical in higher education, where autonomy, trust, and academic freedom need to be a departmental value. Most of us at one time or another have been part of a great team, a group of people who functioned together in an extraordinary way, who trusted one another, who complemented one another's strengths and compensated for each other's limitations, who had common goals that were larger than individual goals, and who produced extraordinary results. Senge, page 4.